to me it's a little concerning, but there remains quite a lack of information about who actually regulates what, who's responsible for ensuring safety, who actually responds in the case of an incident. The positive side is this is exactly the kind of forum that will lead to dealing with those questions and issues. The fact that the pipeline company or the proposed pipeline company, the regulators, both provincial and federal, and the Stolo Indigenous communities all sit down together and talk through the issues, what's known, what's not known, what role does each play, to me is the very positive thing that comes out of these kind of sessions.
I see a real need from listening to what I've heard so far on the need for people to branch out and build relationships with their neighboring municipalities or communities so they can be a larger scale involvement in being prepared for an incident or a spill. So I think the need for leaders and organizations to come together and start working as a team is really imperative to moving forward with this process.
What I've learned, well, first of all, being in Stolo country is beautiful, and thank them for having us here. And what I've learned is that unfortunately the industries that I've seen or listened to today don't involve First Nations from start to finish. They're just sort of here and there. So I guess the comment I would like to make is that they got to be involved from the beginning to the end.
Still not really convinced of the safety of the pipeline, like especially after viewing some of the videos and that of some of the disasters that happened elsewhere. So I'm just more or less concerned about the safety of our rivers locally, and I'd like to know more about the whereabouts that all the lines run close to our the Fraser Valley, like the Fraser River and the Better River, and wherever most of our people do their fishing and the hunting grounds.
But I'm still very skeptical when it comes to them, when it comes to transporting it, or, you know, I'm very concerned about the tar sands and all that, what it's done to our brothers and sisters over in Alberta, to their land and their air, because I understand that they can't eat any of the wildlife because they are so contaminated, and the land is very, very contaminated also. We
have a divide with Stalo Nation and Stalo Tribal Council. We have 24 bands, or I don't even know the total amount, but we're divided. And that also doesn't help our people with coming together. And like someone was mentioning in the workshop, that it's good that we can come together under an emergency basis, but that is, you know, those emergency bases aren't always all the time. So our people need to come together as we should have been in the first place, and not being divided and conquered.
As far as this workshop, in the case where we're bringing federal representatives, provincial representatives, regional representatives, and bringing our leadership together with them as well as technical people, I think the value there is we all have a role to play, and we all have different core interests, so to speak. And I think what the value is here is, rather than operating and working in silos and focusing on who and what we're responsible to, whether it's a piece of legislation or in our case to the citizens, the Stalo citizens, and the integrity of the Sauf T'Morch, a key piece is having a way of bringing people together and understanding how our roles and our interests are complementary and how they actually serve the bigger purpose of protecting a territory and responding to an incident. And so I just think it's key to continue that dialogue of understanding each other, and then also understanding how we can work together best.
Well, I guess just the realization that there is humanness expressed in some of the representatives of the other sectors, and a glimpse of understanding about where we're coming from and what's important to me as a Chawasil and to some of our leadership, and definitely our community too, who've all, through different processes, just had a chance to express some of these concerns that are reiterated.
It's really reassuring to me to see Stolo people and some Stolo elders so engaged in this subject, because at the end of the day, this is their traditional territory, and this is a pipeline going through their traditional territory, and it's very satisfying to see them participate in a session like this.
Well, it's interesting to listen to some of the presenters talk about the safety of the pipelines, talk about consultation and accommodation, but they forget one important thing is that they need our consent before they do anything in our territory. So, you know, that's one of the parts that's missing.